Hi, I'm Mary Knipple, book mentor, and I help you get that story out of your head and onto the page. Welcome to this month's free training of Does My Story Matter? I found that so many people want to write a book. They see people in their industry and they think, I should have a book. Yet they sit down and they go, where do I start? Who wants to hear from me? And so they put it aside and they say, someday. Yeah, I hope that someday I'll write that book. And someday doesn't come. Vince Lombardi tells us that hope is not a strategy. So, what I do is help my writers figure out that strategy so that they can write the book that is going to tell their story. And that and then my gift is helping them open up their heart to that peace that they wouldn't discover unless they got deeper with the story. I've been a journalist for years, and I've been told, you don't belong here, you're just a bored housewife. But I told them I am a writer, and I realized as a journalist, I wasn't telling my story. I fully believe that I needed to get my story out of my journals and onto the page. And I made a bad first attempt at my book, and many rewrites later, I published. I recognized the value of no longer being the secret artist and opening up to give myself permission to let my creativity shine, which is the name of my book. And I am blessed to be able to mentor writers to become authors and get their stories into print. So, the answer to the question of this training is, does my story matter? Yes, your story matters. Have you ever read a story that really had an impact on your life? And what if that author had thought, does my story matter? Nobody wants to read this. What if no one cares? Who am I to write this? Are those the voices in your head? Well, cut it out. Your story matters. Imagine you have written your book and you have people coming up to you telling you how much what you wrote impacted them. They are quoting you to you. And they are telling you that what you taught them made such an impact. And they were able to accomplish things that they didn't think was possible. But when they read what you wrote and they followed your teaching, they did something greater than they thought was possible for them. So you want to know my secrets to go from, oh, me, a writer, to, wow, me, I'm an author. Okay, now here's where you pick up a pen and we're going to start doing some writing. You're going to answer some questions about what you need to know to write the story that matters. First of all, who is your reader? You have to know who you're talking to when you sit down to write. And what is the impact you're going to have on your reader? What do you want them to walk away feeling or knowing after they've finished reading your book? When are you going to publish? Do you have an idea of when you want to share this with the world? And where are you on your writing journey? Are you just starting out? Do you have pages and pages in your journal? There are a lot of moving parts to writing a book. Why? Why you and why now? That is a question that needs to be answered. And how are you going to impact your reader? Are you going to teach them something so that they can have a more healthy life? Maybe you have a book of recipes. Maybe you're going to teach them about exercise. Maybe you're going to inspire them with a whole new way to philosophy, a mindset. Or are you going to teach them about finance, how to handle their money, how to get a better job so that they can make more money? Are you going to help them with the relationships, how to find the love of their life, how to have a better relationship with their children, with their spouse, how to have a better relationship with themselves? So know how you're going to impact, whether it's health, wealth, or love. And you may have noticed that I was using the journalist questions of who, what, when, where, why, how. And I add another dimension here, that when it's present, I really feel that your story can really touch your reader, because it shows you in a vulnerable light. It shows your transparency. It's your heart. And you may have touched on this in your why, because your transformational story shares who you are and how you got to be who you are and why you do what you do. One of my clients was an accountant. She is a brilliant accountant. She wanted to be part of an anthology. And she came to me and she said, I don't know how to do this. I know how to work the numbers, but I don't know how to do the words. And we worked together. And she not only was part of a best-selling Amazon book, but she's also working on content for her website and creating a program and blogging. So she gained confidence in her story. And now she's writing to help other entrepreneurs. Another one of my clients wanted to update her website, and we were working on her About Me section. And I asked her the question to tell me about her first job. And she was very accomplished in her industry. And so she wanted to list off the businesses she's worked at and the awards she's won. And I said, that's great, but I want to go back to the first time somebody paid you. And she looked at me and said, how far back? The first time someone paid you for a job. Well, I babysat. Okay, great. More details. Well, I was 10. And how old was the child? It was a newborn. I'm a mom. I don't know that I would have been able to trust a 10-year-old with a newborn. So I asked her, why did that mom trust you? And she said, well, it was obvious. She'd seen me with my handicapped brother. There she was, a 10-year-old who knew how to handle herself with a handicapped brother and to be able to convince an adult that she could take care of a newborn. And we were in another networking event together, and she was part of a panel, and they were invited to introduce themselves and give a little background about something that none of us knew. And I said, here's this is a perfect opportunity to tell the babysitting story. And she just looked at me like, these are all professionals here. They know that I'm a professional. And I don't think I can do that. And I said, okay, it's a really good opportunity. And I'm a big believer in synchronicity. I thought here we were handed a perfect opportunity for you to tell something that they don't know about you. She walked away and I was sure that she wasn't going to do it, but she did. And I watched the audience lean in and see her in a different light. And afterwards, she came up to me and she goes, I've never had so many women approach me before. That was a turning point. And you know, the industry that she excels in is sales. So she knew how to have confidence in conveying that she could help people with what she had to offer from a very young age. And what she didn't show a lot of times was that vulnerability of people thinking of her as a little kid taking care of a baby. And that was how she started her career in sales. And that's the kind of thing that a lot of people dismiss as, well, that's just ordinary. Why would I talk about that? But that's what makes you extraordinary. All those details that add up to you being the individual that you are. And that's why you need a strategy to get your story out of your head and into print. Remember, hope is not a strategy. A good story is a good story. Nonfiction has an arc, just the way fiction does. You want your readers to be leaning in all along the way and stay until the end of the book. You want them to connect with what you are saying and see themselves on the pages. See that you are reaching them on their level. So if you don't know who your people are, if you don't know the arc of your book, if you want to get your story out of your head and into print, we should talk. I invite you to go to yourwritingmentor.com/author strategy call. And that goes directly to my calendar. Sign up for a strategy call with me, or you can drop the word strategy along with your email down in the chat, and I will connect with you later. And again, if you want to have a strategy call with me, put strategy in the chat along with your email, and I'll connect with you. Or if you're watching the replay, put replay and strategy and tag me so that I can reach out to you and we'll set something up. Remember, your story matters and hope is not a strategy. I'm Mary Knipple. Thank you for joining me today. Let's do this.